Soy Salvador García Soto y a partir de este lunes quiero comentarle que las noticias de la noche cambian de horario. De lunes a viernes a las 10 lo espero por el canal 10. Ya lo sabe, el mejor análisis, las historias, los personajes están aquí en las noticias de la noche del Heraldo Televisión. Las noticias donde deben de estar. Acompáñeme a las 10 por el 10.
Broadcasting live from Houston, from the space city to the world. You are watching NowMedia Television.
Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. And I'm here today because I believe that iron sharpens iron. When we bring other entrepreneurs who are successful, other people share what's working in their business and even maybe what's not, we're able to really work together to link arms and to elevate all of our businesses. I believe that entrepreneurs and small businesses are the lifeblood of our community, and when we elevate our businesses, the impact not only affects ourselves and our families, but also that of our teams, of our clients, of our communities, and our world. So without further ado, I'm super excited to welcome my guest today in studio. We have Emily Trevino of Wise Insurance. Welcome to the studio, Emily.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here today.
Absolutely. And also joining us in studio today is Paula Cook. Welcome back, Paula.
Welcome. Glad to be here today. Thanks for having me.
So I really want to kick off this conversation because we've been talking a lot in recent episodes about changes, economic changes, the world has changed, business has changed. We've totally had disruption for the last several years. And as business owners, we have to be adaptable. We have to be able to be flexible through the changes and navigate these economic times. And part of that, Emily, is insurance. So I'd love to hear how you're helping entrepreneurs to navigate the elevated expenses and the different climate that we have today when it comes to your industry.
So the great thing about health insurance is it is ever changing, and there are so many different factors in that. One is from a legislative standpoint, so what's going on in the government and what they want to do with some of the individual, family, and even group health plans. But then there's also the second component where people just don't really know what to do when it comes to health insurance. So at Wise Insurance, we believe in wholeheartedly in educating entrepreneurs, small businesses especially, because rates are going up. They just keep going up. And so we have to find different strategies for various businesses, because not every business can be treated the same when it comes to those strategies. So we are educating entrepreneurs, we're educating the self-employed, we're educating business owners to provide solutions that is acceptable for their business, meets their needs for the business, but also is still able to help their employees and their teams as well.
Yeah, and so in our previous episode, Paul and I were conversating about how do we cut costs? How do we manage that bottom line? How do we manage the expenses in our business? And so we were talking about negotiating and looking at different things and looking at different options. So I think it's really fantastic and timely that you're here today, because you can kind of shine that light on our for our viewers, because we have a lot of viewers who are entrepreneurs, who are investors, who are corporate looking to make that shift. So we're going to talk let's talk about that shift as people shift towards entrepreneurship. We'll kind of take it in spaces. We'll talk about the new entrepreneur. What are some of the things when you make that shift to entrepreneurship that are really key? And I'll let you answer, Emily, and then maybe Paula, you can chime in on this, because I know you work with several new entrepreneurs in that space.
So whenever you're transitioning from, let's say, corporate America, right? I had to make that transition as an entrepreneur, and it is a vastly different world. The things that you can say, the interactions that you have, some of the politics that you have to play sometimes. There's a lot of different things and different stressors in corporate that maybe are relievers and entrepreneur, but then you have different stressors that you don't have to worry about when you're in corporate.
That's right.
But some of the things that people have to really focus on when they transition is to understand the full big picture about what you're getting into as an entrepreneur and a business person. You can't get stuck in this bubble of, well, I just do this one skill. Because that's what we did in corporate America, is we did our job. That's what we did. We woke up, we did our job, we did the things that were related to our goals. You know, I was an account manager, so I managed our accounts. So I made sure I did the best I could do there. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you carry all the hats. So you have to be able to work on your weaknesses and get better at that, continue to maintain your strengths and even get stronger if you can. But it's really a big picture type of thing. The other thing you have to do is also make sure you're aware of what you are giving up when you are working for someone, things like your health insurance benefits, life insurance, things like that, and make sure that you get those in order when you transition as an entrepreneur.
I love that, Emily. And just like we say, Emily says you have to think about the plan, right, and the big picture. And that's what we also preach to our beginning clients, not small clients, but beginning clients in business, is that you have to have a plan. And part of the plan is having insurance. When you are under the umbrella of a big corporation, they provide all those things to you. And some things you're even being provided that you don't even know that you're getting, as Emily was saying. So get that education. It is so awesome that Emily's company offers the education, so you can know what you're transitioning to, and then you know what you can have. You can decide, make an informed decision on what you're going to purchase in the way of insurance and what you're going to build up to. And it is important to have a company that can explain all of those things to you. So as a business strategist for my new entrepreneurs, of course, I recommend the first thing you do is get health insurance, because I am a life coach. And so I definitely recommend health insurance. But when you go and you meet with Emily's company where they educate you, she will give you all the other options that you have that maybe your company offered, and you saw like the little $2 deduction, and it was for $60,000 worth of insurance that you can get through Emily. And you need to insure yourself. You are now the business. So that is one of the things that we recommend to beginning entrepreneurs, for sure.
And I really want to kind of key into this. It's important to have a plan. There's important to have a plan both personally and professionally, right?
Yeah.
We need to have a plan for our business. A business without a business plan or without a business strategy is like deciding I want to go to Walmart by putting in Popeyes, the GPS, right? You're never going to get there because you put in the wrong coordinates. So you're going to be surprised and unhappily surprised that you ended up at Popeyes when really you want to be at Walmart. So it's so important to have that business plan, but it's also important to have that life plan. And part of that life plan is, what am I going to do? Like, what do I do in my transition? And one of the things that we talk about a lot, because we work with a lot of people who are kind of side gigging and then they go into full-time business. When you're side gigging, you still have all the corporate benefits. You still have all the bigger benefits. And it's beyond just even health insurance. It's also when we move into that bigger thing and we are responsible for everything, because now our business is our livelihood and we're responsible for our teams and we're growing our teams, we also have to be cognizant of those things and what they offer. So our plan on life and our plan on business both come into play and having that right strategy. But it's important when you have the strategy that you also have the right team. We talk about this a lot on this show. We talk about who is our team. As entrepreneurs, our team is our business coach or strategist. If you don't have one, you've got Paula here, you've got myself. I can hook you up with a whole bunch of others as well. Just reach out to me. But it's your business coach who's going to help kind of point to risk mitigation. Health insurance is part of risk mitigation, because if you're not healthy, nothing happens in your business. So, your commercial insurance, your health insurance, your life insurance, that's all part of it. Your legal team is part of your team, your CPA, your accounting. Like, there's multiple resources so that we as entrepreneurs don't have to do it alone. So, Emily, what was it that drove you to make that shift from corporate and to choose health insurance? Like, what drove that industry? Like, I want to know, like, where did that come from? Like, what was that for you?
Well, I actually was working for an insurance carrier, more specifically in the Medicare space, and we were doing more education. We were still doing educational-based marketing and educating the public on what is Medicare, mistakes to avoid. We still do that. But when I was doing that, I was actually helping independent insurance agents learn how to do the same type of marketing, how to work with providers, physicians, hospital systems, things like that. And I just saw a larger opportunity that I wasn't really a part of at that time. And so I really wanted to dive in a little bit deeper. And so I took the risk with nothing to just make it work. So that's how I got in. But I was actually fortunate enough because I was already networked in the industry, so I had really good resources. I already had a lot of knowledge based on that. So for me, it was a little bit easier of a transition rather than someone who, I don't know, was working somewhere completely out of the space and then transitioning. Because we do see that from insurance agents. Insurance agents are self-employed, they're all entrepreneurs, and as they transition into becoming a full-time insurance agent, they're becoming an entrepreneur. And they're usually coming from an industry that's not related at all.
So that's like a double whammy on the learning curve, right? They first have to learn the industry because they don't come from the industry, and then they have to learn how to be a business owner because, newsflash, it's completely different to work for someone and only do your skill set versus being an entrepreneur and all of a sudden your marketing and your sales and your, the accounting department and your customer service and your IT and so like that's one heck of a learning curve. And Emily, I know you have a team and you're continually growing your team. How is it like if you were to meet with, like, say I want to go into insurance. I've never been in insurance. I was in healthcare, but I've never been in insurance. I don't know anything about insurance. What does that look like as you develop someone into the industry for those who might be thinking about getting into the insurance industry?
For us, we wholeheartedly believe in mentorship because it is a lot to do, especially on your own. We have our 1099 contractors team where they own their own business. We also have a team that's employed by us that, we like to take, brand new people, brand new license and really kind of guide them and then eventually transition to them if that's their goal into owning their own business. But a lot of times when you start with a mentorship and do it step-by-step process, that system works for people. But if you're just like, okay, here's the contract, here's the product, this is the product, go read it, learn on your own, which is pretty standard in our industry, it makes for a high failure rate. And unfortunately, in the insurance space, 92% of insurance agents with a license actually fail. And I think a lot of it is because they were either sold a dream that lacked the follow-up on mentoring and guidance, and you really need that. So that's one thing that we pride ourselves on is we're really taking a step-by-step approach to help these agents be successful, but they gotta also put in the work.
That's right.
I mean, we can't do all of it, right? So if they just do what they wanna, what we're guiding them to do, and they put in that hard work and that effort, they are successful. And this is a life-changing industry. This is an industry that is not very difficult to have. You don't have to have a degree to have this. You have to have a professional license. It's not entirely difficult to get, but it is made life-changing. And my business partner, Kim, she has made a complete life change in this industry because of from the financial perspective that she may or may not have been able to obtain otherwise.
That's really awesome to be in a place where you can, I love that you guys mentor the new agents, and it's like real estate, and it's even like small businesses. I mean, in 3 years, 95% of businesses are failing, small businesses, and so it sounds like that's a similar, situation in that area as well. But as business strategists and a business coach and a life coach, we know people are successful when they actually have that. It sounds like you're coaching
That's
for
right.
what we do, and so when you actually have someone to go with you step by step and mentor you and coach you through all of the times, through your good times and your bad times, and to help you to grow and really be successful. But Emily's right, you got to do your part as well. You have to be accountable to the process and to the learning and to putting in the work. Nothing, as Jen was saying earlier, business is hard. It is hard, and you do have to put in the work, but it is definitely worth it, and you definitely can succeed.
And so something that I want to kind of liken this to every industry, right? Coaching and mentoring are essential to success. Like if you want to collapse the time to success, you find someone who's done it and helped other people to do it successfully, because when you find that, it collapses the time to success. But what I heard from both Paula and Emily is you have to put in the work. And I think part of this is unrealistic expectations. Like, let's be real. You can go on social media and you scroll and everybody's a successful entrepreneur. But the statistics don't lie. 96% of those businesses are failing. So if you go on social media and you see 100% of the time that it's easy, someone is lying.
That's right.
It might be easy because they're not doing any work. They also might be out of business.
Yeah.
So like, I think that what is coming to me very, very strongly is, Emily, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys set a realistic expectation for the business for your new agents. And you don't just throw them and say, oh, you're going to have $100,000 or $250,000 in 6 weeks.
No, we cannot do that. You have to be very realistic with people too, because it's also a real disappointment if you're not performing at that level. And it's funny that you say about social media, because in our insurance industry, we have tons of Facebook groups that are geared to help agents, but sometimes oftentimes they're defeating, because it's like, oh, I just wrote, X amount of apps and in one day, and it's like, well, you don't know what went into that. You don't know if they had a team of people helping them. Right. You don't know if they had access to a bunch of capital that they could pump into marketing. So not every agent, like every business, is not the same. Right. So you have to run your own race, and it's a marathon. It's not a sprint to success by any means, unless you maybe win a lottery ticket.
Hello.
And I didn't get that $1 billion lottery ticket.
Didn't either.
Wait, what? Who's got the ticket?
I don't know, not me.
And something that, like, I come from sports medicine, and one of the things that I like in this too is, Olympic swimmers, right? Mm-hmm. They're in a lane. If they take the time to look at the person in the lane next to them, they lose the race.
That's right.
It slows them down because they're worried about somebody else. And in entrepreneurship, and I think this is any industry, I'm not going to say it's all industries because I'm not going to be that bold, but 100% of our clients and myself and the people that I know and do business with, if we keep our head down and we stay in our lane and we focus on us and we're in competition with ourselves, we look at our baseline, we look at where we're coming, and we're able to measure our own success against ourselves, that's where the success lies. When we look up and we go, oh wait, Paula is doing that. Yeah. And maybe I need to do that too, but I'm not Paula. Like, that's when we lose the game, right? Or we lose the race. Is that like that in insurance as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I even get caught up in it. I'm networked with some very high profile people in the industry who are very successful. Mm-hmm. I'm also networked with people who have just started a few years ago and just were able to scale because they had access to a whole slew of resources I didn't know about at the time, and they went to a whole different type of marketing and stuff. And so even sometimes I have to kind of reel myself back as well. So it's just an ongoing struggle you're going to have as an entrepreneur is because you want so much more. I mean, that's just our personality. Like, we're just highly motivated. We're competitive, and not in an ugly way. I always am. I'm like very good friends with competitors of mine, so it's just a matter of like, oh, if they can do that, I can do that too, right? But sometimes it can take you to a defeating place if things aren't working out as fast as you want them to and require some patience. So that's why I like to mentor our agents to say, look, this is realistically what you can do if you do the things we tell you. And that's just based on our experience. That's not like a made up number somewhere or, whatever. It is our experience, and that's what it is. So you have to stay focused, and you have to just continue to work towards your goals and chip away. Maybe your goals change every year or every quarter based on your performance, but you just keep chipping away at your own goals, and you'll reach them.
Yeah, Paula, you want to talk a little bit about that? Because that's something that I know in coaching, like, it's really about setting the realistic expectation in the beginning, setting the goal to the expectation, and then breaking that down into bite-sized chunks. Talk to us a little bit about how that looks from a coach's perspective, so that, we can kind of give our viewers hey, you want to do this? You want to start your business? Like, this is what it looks like. Here's a realistic expectation, and here's a couple things to start with.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing to start with is goals, understanding whether it's you want to be an insurance agent or whether you want to own your own business. What is it that you want to do? We ask entrepreneurs all the time, what is your business? What do you want to accomplish? Why are you in business? And a lot of times they can't answer. We know that entrepreneurs are passionate about what they're doing. They really want to get their product or service out, but they're not necessarily business people. They don't necessarily have the business acumen that is needed to be able to sustain and start the business to be successful like they want it to be. So number one is getting with someone, a mentor or a coach, to help you get a plan. One thing that I say, a plan. If you don't hear anything else out of today's from Paula, a plan. You need a plan, and that's planning how you're going to buy your insurance, planning whether you're going to be insurance agent, planning your own business. You need a plan. If you don't have a plan, you're planning to fail, and then you can get a plan, because we encourage failing, and failing normally brings a plan, because people don't like to fail. We like to learn from our failures, but we don't enjoy failing. But when we do fail, we do learn. And I will tell you, the number one failure for entrepreneurs when they go in without a plan. So number one, have a plan. Number two, you need some accountability for the plan, because you can have the plan and not work the plan, and the plan don't matter. So you need to have some plan, you need to have some accountability. And then third, you got to wake up every day and go get it. Business is hard, business is fun, business is rewarding, but business is work. Go, Emily.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. It is. And I am glad that you say that, because it doesn't matter what phase you are in your business, whether you're just starting or you're highly successful. I mean, you have to have that plan. It is what's going to keep you focused and keep you going. But more importantly, it's the failures. If you ever notice any interview you ever see of highly successful people, they always talk about the lessons they learned in their failures, because they failed a million times before they found their break. And we failed, when we try different marketing things, they don't all work. And we hate it, because we're wasting money, but it's part of the process, so that you can find out what does work, so you can add more fuel to that fire and outreach to more people and things like that. So I love your plan and your goals, because I'm going to actually talk to my sales team about that.
Go ahead. I'll let you borrow that.
Oh, she's got permission. Boom, it's done. Well, and something that's really coming to me is you learn more in your failures than do in your successes. Yeah. Like what I've found, and it doesn't matter which business I've been in, when you get to a level of success, what happens? One of two things happens. One, you get complacent, and then all of a sudden you end up on the decline, right? Because you're like, oh, I've made it. Okay, here's the news flash. If you think you've made it and you've done this and kicked back, you're doing it wrong. That's how businesses come to die. But it's that, or that's when you dig in and you go, okay, I've made it this far. What do I have to do to make it to the next level? That's right. And to keep in the same vein with the plan that got you here, many times. I mean, I've never seen it not be the case where they didn't have to change the plan to get to the next level. Like I'm gonna go ahead and be bold and say 100% of the clients that I've worked with, 100% of my businesses, the plan has had to change to get to the next level. Have you guys seen anything different than that?
Nothing different.
I mean, you always have to pivot, and it's because of all the external factors that you can't control. You can't control your business plan. So if you're like type A, where I got to do step 1, step 2, step 3, it's not going to work for you. I'm just letting you know, put in the plan, if you need that there's going to be times when you have to pivot to something else. And that's really where I think people get caught up, and that's where their self-defeat comes, is because they're not comfortable with pivoting, and this thing was working so good, or they give up because it just didn't work out the way I thought. But you have to have that grit, which is what I see in high-performing athletes, highly successful people. I mean, I do think that there's benefits to some of this stuff, like waking up early and cold showers and working out. I'm sure all that stuff works for people, but I think the number one thing I see in highly successful people, no matter what industry, is they have the grit to keep going, because they do not take failure as an option, and your goals should be non-negotiable.
Well, I think you only really fail when you quit. In business, the only time that you fail is when you quit. Do you stumble? All the freaking time. And if you're not having fails, then you're not shooting big enough. Like, you're not going for the next level. I can't tell you to get to that success. That's literally, and you said it earlier, anybody that you listen to their interview that's highly successful, whether it's athletics or it's business, or any other high performer, they've failed a million times to get to that level of success. That's what elite success requires. It requires you to get in the game and tweak until you find that zone and you're able to hit it and go for it. So when we're talking about hitting that inflection point now, Emily? Because I know that you had some growing pains. You and your partner had some growing pains.
Yes, yeah.
We all do.
Fair share.
I'm not calling you out independently. Like
No,
literally,
right.
100% of us,
Part
when
of
we
it.
hit that inflection point, we have growing pains. Talk to me about how you've navigated those growing pains and continue to navigate, because I know we're having growing pains right now with hiring. So talk to me about how you navigate the growing pains so you continue to be able to show up with that moxie and with that drive, even though it feels like a slug fest.
Well, I mean, first you have to recognize you're going through growing pains and not feel like insecure about it. In our growing, it's just that we're moving like really fast and we want to move faster. And you can't do it without a good, solid team, you know? And so we're trying to find the right people that fit our right culture in our office, that want to accomplish the same goals that we want to do. But we wouldn't be able to kind of work through those dynamics if we didn't have our own mentors. So I have a business coach. You know, we rely heavily, and I am networked with a lot of people who are very successful. They all kind of go through the same things. This is not new in any industry. This is something, hiring people, making sure that you're a great boss. Everybody
Right.
wants to be a great boss,
Right.
you know, or a great leader. So it's just being able to network with people and have that mentorship to where you have to have patience in the process. Not everything moves as fast as we want them to, because that's part of the plan, right?
Wait, time out. Does anything move as fast as you want?
No,
Because
ever.
It never moves as fast
Not
as I
even
want.
traffic.
Right? Especially not traffic in Houston.
Not in Houston. Right.
No.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think you have to have patience in the process too, and just accept it and seek help, and don't feel like I got to do this all by myself. A lot of our insurance agents, we see that they're like, they just feel stuck to themselves and they don't want to reach out for support or mentorship, or maybe they don't even have it and they're not even seeking it. So it's that you have to be able to outreach for help and get some guidance, and don't always feel like you have to be right. Everybody's obsessed with being right. You don't got to be right. It's okay. It's part of growing and scaling. So.
Agreed. That was fantastic. And the one thing is, we need people. We cannot do it on our own. You're not gonna also in all of the interviews for successful people, you never hear them say, I did it all by myself. They're gonna list this person and that person and this coach and that coach and this loved one and this family member who let me sleep on the couch when I was broke, and then now this, and then this person who opened this door for me who also gave this. You cannot do anything by yourself. So the other thing that I like that you said was the patience. Man, that is key, critical key. You have to have patience. Everybody is human. Everybody is going to make a mistake at some point, including ourselves. We have to be patient with ourselves and give ourselves grace and space when we make a mistake, or when we're not at our best, or when we need to pivot. We have to be patient with ourselves. And with that patience comes peace. With the peace comes joy. So I just love that patience thing. I'm going to start working on that.
Yeah, I got to work on that patience
pray
thing
for
too,
it.
because I am not a patient person. So we've talked about a whole lot of things. We do have to take a brief break, but before we do, what did you hear today so far that you're like, oh, wait, I want to implement that in my business. Oh, I need to be mentoring my team so they can feel like they're successful. What is it that you heard that you want to implement today? Reach out to me and let me know, and we'll see you just in a few moments.
Hi, I'm Patria Leone. I believe in every single thing that I do, and I want you to do the same. You deserve to look and feel beautiful or handsome. Be empowered. You're entitled to be at your best mind, physical, and financial fitness. As the CEO of Health for Wealth, I've developed a 4-pillar method based on your mindset, overall health and wellness, relationships, and finances. All of these are the foundation of your life, and they integrate whether it's in your business or your personal life. I've been down and I've had some strong struggles and challenges, and I'm convinced that every habit and behavior creates your choices, and you become the sum of your choices. You want to feel better, look better, eat better, think better, work better, love better, perform better, be better. What are you waiting for? Remember, you have only one life, one body, and one mind. And there's a solution to every circumstance, and it starts with you. It's time for you to take charge and thrive now. Invest in yourself. To schedule your free 30-minute consultation that has every potential to change everything, call now at 602-910-1340 or visit forhealthywealthy.com. You can follow me on Instagram at Patria Leone or follow me on Facebook at Health for Wealth LLC. And don't forget to check out my podcast on YouTube at Health for Wealth.
Hi, my name is Elias Basabe, founder of Little Maria's Cafe restaurant in West Houston, located in 2901 Wilkers Drive, Suite 137, first floor. Here you will find a family-friendly and relaxed environment where you can enjoy a delicious homemade breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We know you need to get to work fast, and we want you to enjoy a tasty, quality, and healthy homemade food. So come and visit us for a great nutritious meal at an affordable price. We specialize in tasty breakfasts, deli sandwiches, fish, even barbecue cookouts. Little Maria's Cafe has it all. We only use the great quality of Boar's Head meats and products. Just like you, we love to get you up early. Little Maria's Cafe is open from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can dine in with us during breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or we can have it ready for you for pickup. Visit us today on the first floor of the CMPC Center at 2901 Wilkers Drive, Suite 137, first floor. Order now at 832-667-8376, Little Maria's Cafe.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Gaudet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life. Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, investor, entrepreneur, and business strategist. And we are here, and we're going to just continue the conversation. But if you're just now tuning in, you're going to want to catch the first segment. You can do that by going to NowMedia.tv and selecting our show, because we've been talking a lot about business, what it takes to be in business, but also we dove deep into the health insurance industry and insurance in general. So we're going to pick up where we left off, because Emily, we were talking in the break, and we were talking about politics and business. And it's something that we're always like, don't talk about politics and business, but let's be real. Politics impacts business.
Yes, it does.
So talk to us a little bit about some legislative changes. Like, how do you guys navigate that? Because what I do know after 20 years in healthcare is that it changes every single year, and sometimes mid-year and multiple times a year. So how is it that you're able to navigate the changes and keep up with what you need to do and make sure your team is able to navigate those changes as well so that you can best serve your clients?
Well, the most important part is you need to pay attention. So a lot of people are like, I don't watch the news, it's negative, all that stuff. I get it. But the thing is you have to be able to read information, regardless of how negative it can be or what tone it's in, and understand what's going on and what's being proposed and how that impacts your business. When, maybe you own a business that's not even related to health insurance, but health insurance is a benefit that many businesses offer. So you need to be aware of what legislative changes there could be and how that would impact your business. like premiums going up and contributions being made to your employees and things like that. And so it's extremely important as a business owner for you to not only pay attention to what's going on from a bit in the legislation in regards to your business, but also industries that may also impact your business as well. Another one is, like, we have a lot of insurance agents that, they own their own business. So they wear a lot of hats. They don't have time to figure it out. But there are professional organizations that do a lot of outreach that will send you these newsletters and say, hey, this is what's being proposed. These are the things. These are the things that pass. On the Medicare side, we're highly regulated by the government. And so we have to have certain disclaimers. Now we have to have every call recorded. And there's a lot of insurance agents who don't even realize what has changed, and that starts October 1st on the Medicare side. So most think it's just the enrollment that has to be recorded. I'm like, no. So now it's my job to hurry up and push out as much as I can content to let them know what changes occur so they can stay compliant and continue to sell compliantly and follow the guidelines of the government. So that's an external factor that can impact your business. It's something that no one really saw coming, and it happened like that. And so you have to find either professional organizations that specialize in that. For insurance, we have NAHU, is what we call it short for, but there's other professional organizations that are fighting and advocating for your business. You need to be a part of that, but you also need to just be paying attention in general to see what kind of changes there are, because there's a lot of changes on the individual, family, and group side that are coming as well. They just haven't been finalized. So.
Yeah, Jen, that makes me think about really every quarter you and your business should be going through what we call a SWOT analysis in business strategy. And that really brings to light some of those threats and opportunities, because as things are evolving and changing and you're really looking at your business from a SWOT analysis, which stands for, slow it down, which stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, you really get to get that plan based on those evaluations of your business, and then move forward so that you're not out of compliance, so that you're not have put in all this hard work and something shuts you down or somebody sues you for something very trivial. So yes, you do have to pay attention, but one way, a system to bring that attention to some of those things that Emily was just telling us about, is to do a SWOT analysis on your business. And you can do that monthly, you can do that quarterly. I definitely recommend doing it at least twice a year, but really quarterly would be the best.
And I agree with you. That is something, we don't do the whole SWOT, but we analyze threats and opportunities. Now we're going to do the whole SWOT. But here's the deal, and I'll give a great example. When Obamacare, or the ACA, rolled out, there was a whole lot of insurance agents that were specialized in selling health insurance to any individuals and families that were under the age of 65. Well, when Obamacare was passed, there was a mass exodus of insurance agents. And, we had a choice. Do we exit with them because of these changes and because the commissions were dropped, essentially, and that is a big threat to your business, right? But we chose to stay in it and go hard in it, and we started from the beginning. And because of that, we excelled, so it became an opportunity. So where other people see a threat, like in this Medicare space right now, we have agents who are like, I'm not doing all that recording. I don't want to do all of that. I don't care. I'll do it. I'm not afraid to record myself. But that's an opportunity. So every time you see something as a threat, how do you turn that into an opportunity so that your business can benefit? I think that's one of the things that's made our agency significantly different, because we're focusing on the positive side of the business and pivoting towards opportunity and swaying away from the threat.
And it's so important too, we were talking about your legislative changes. This happens in every industry. I don't care what your business is, whether it's product or service based, whether it's, in a state, it's national, it's international, it doesn't matter. We all have opportunities and threats. Like right now, the biggest threat we have is economic. There is instability in the world. There's war going on in the world. There's a lot of threats, and if you get scared by the threats, then you miss the positive opportunities in there. And we were actually just talking about this earlier today, Emily. We were talking about how when we have those kind of big threats and disruptions, that's an opportunity for us to say, wait a minute, what new problems are there that I can solve for my clients that either I can solve, I can partner to solve, or I can help them with finding the right resource so they can solve that problem for themselves, which only adds value and adds that wow factor so that they keep coming back and adds to my lifetime value. So I think it's very, very important. Like, I love the SWOT analysis. I'm a big fan of looking at opportunities and threats, and I'm like you, Emily. I hate the news, but I'm reading the Journal. I'm reading what's going on in the world. I'm reading different things.
Yep.
I don't actually watch the news because they're too slow and I'm ADD, but I'm reading all the things. And if I don't know something or I'm not sure about something, I'm drilling deep and using my strategic thinking time to learn about the new legislation, the new issue with supply chain, whatever is happening and real and relevant now. And then I see, okay, that's the threat. What's the opportunity here? What can I do? How can I maximize this? Where can I help my clients with this? Because I'm a business coach. So I have businesses in every industry, and it's my job to help navigate their waters and help them collapse the time. So I think it's really brilliant that you said that. And I want to just point back to something you said very early on. I think in the very beginning of this episode, you said that you have to get good at your weaknesses. And it's very controversial that a lot of people, like the gurus, will tell you, just focus on your strengths. That's BS in business.
Yeah.
Your weaknesses are what are going to kill you. And so when we think about the SWOT analysis, strengths and weaknesses is internal to us in our organization. We have control over that. So by mitigating our weaknesses, by learning more and strengthening those up and shoring them up and turning them into strengths, we're taking control of what we actually have control over. What don't we have control over? The opportunities and threats.
Right.
That's outside of our locus of control. So if we really work on our weaknesses, and we don't have to learn about it all the time because our weaknesses are our weakness. If you stink at sales, then that's a weakness. Like, work on that. And it's not like you're going to work on it a little bit and all of a sudden you're going to be great at it. It takes time and practice to get good at it. But drill down on your strengths and weaknesses a couple times a year and dedicate yourselves to shoring those weaknesses up, because those weaknesses can mitigate threats. Those strengths can mitigate threats, and you can use that for your opportunities. So I really like it. It's like we just came full circle.
Yeah.
It was really fantastic.
That's good.
So we talked a little bit about the politics and about knowing and having a knowledge around it. When something happens and it is a huge threat to your business, right? Let's just use the difficulty in hiring right now. Like right now, there's not enough people in the workforce that are looking to work. It's really hard to find somebody who actually says, yes, I want to work, and actually does the job and wants to actually work, right? Yes. How are you guys mitigating that threat right now? Because it's external to us, but it's very real for pretty much everyone across the board.
That's a really good question, because it's something that we have to process daily. I mean, we can't control who applies for the job. I mean, all we can do is continue to look. Even when we aren't, like when the job's filled, we're still continually looking for people and recruiting people, because you don't want to fill a position when you need it. You want to be able to have talent come in, and also you can scale and grow a little bit faster. So if we maybe we've already filled this position. So for example, I have a guy coming in, he's incredible at sales, and I don't have a position for him just yet because he doesn't have an insurance license yet. But I'm like, you know what? He can help me with recruiting. I really need help with that right now. So that's something he can do until he can transition and when he gets his license. And so you have to be able to continually bring in new talent all the time, but also you have to just kind of pivot away from some of your plan that's not as it's going as is. And the thing is you can't, the other thing with like weaknesses and things like that is you can't always hire it out. I mean, you can, but you need to like learn it so that you have a level of accountability that you, and the expectations that you can set with people. But if you don't know anything about it, like if you're hiring salespeople but you're not good at sales, then it's really hard to hold them accountable and set the right expectation for them too. So that's kind of how we're handling it right now for the positions that we're looking for.
I think that's really important, and a lot of people wait too late to start looking for someone. They wait until they're drowning. You don't want to wait till you're drowning and then put on the mask and hope that you can find somebody. You want to already have that mask sitting there, at least a stream of mask or mask all around you where you can grab one. You don't want to be waiting for somebody to throw you one when you're drowning. So it is super important to keep that for the pipeline, oil and greased and flowing for good talent. talent. And when you find good people, I'm so glad that you said that. When you find good people as a CEO, you put on your innovative, creative thinking cap and you find somewhere for that person to be in your organization because you don't want to lose them. People are so hard to come by that are a good fit for you, for your company, and for all the things that you need. And then the last thing that I'm going to say that Jen mentioned was the strategic thinking. She kind of said it real quick and she's like, in my strategic thinking, I do duh. As a CEO, the second thing that I want you to get from this episode today is if you are not setting aside time to strategically think about things that only you and only you can have a solution to or have to make a decision about, you are not doing it right. You need to every day, if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, every day you should be strategically thinking about something in your business because ultimately you are the one that is going to lead the strategy. Even if you're doing it with a coach or a mentor, it is your responsibility as the CEO to strategically think to move the business forward. That is your responsibility. Nobody else's. You can't delegate it. You can't outsource it. You have to do it. I'll turn it to you, Jen.
Yeah, I just really want to highlight something because both of you ladies did this very much, and I feel it needs highlighting because, you know, sometimes people listen and it takes 2 or 3 different voices to hear it.
Yeah, it does.
But it's really essential that we take ownership of our business and we learn the things we don't know. Emily said it, Paula said it. Like, I'm going to use marketing as an example. If you have no idea how to market and all you do is you hire a firm to do it and they don't get results, guess whose fault it is? It's not their fault, it's yours.
Yeah.
Because a marketing company doesn't know your business, doesn't know your products or services, doesn't know how you want to sell. So if you don't have your message down and know what you're offering and how you solve problems and what sets yourself apart, and then you hand that to somebody who's separate, you delegate it or you hire somebody to do it, they can't explain that any better. Because you got to give them something to work with. Just like a sales team. Emily used the sales example, right? Well, you can't expect your salespeople to sell if you don't know what works. You're the entrepreneur. If you can't sell your business, no one else will be able to do it better than you.
That's right.
And then the other flip side of that is, and this is something that we see a lot, Paula, and I'm sure you see it too, Emily, is we hire people and we get frustrated because they're not as good as us at the thing.
Yep.
Like, I see you laughing. I see you laughing.
Yes.
Like, it frustrates me too.
Yeah.
Listen, if you are frustrated because the people you hire do not do things exactly how you do or as quickly as you do, you're doing it wrong. They're never going to be doing something as effectively, efficiently, or as well as you, and they're definitely not going to do it exactly how you do it because they're different people.
Yep.
And if they were as effective and efficient as you at doing something, guess what? They'd have their own business. They would not be an entrepreneur. So that is an unrealistic expectation. We talked about this, I don't remember if it was, since the break or in the beginning, we talked about realistic expectations in business. We have to have realistic expectations in hiring. We're never going to hire somebody who does it like we do. Now, if we hire somebody and they do something 75% as well as you do, but that frees up the time for you to actually build the relationships, go strategic in your business, get to the next level, guess what? Game over. You're hiring that person.
That's right.
Because your time is more valuable than that. So I think I really wanted to highlight those things because you guys talked about it, but I wanted to make it real.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
And so we've talked about a lot of different topics, Emily, and I know that you are truly an expert in the health insurance space. Is there anything that we haven't covered today with regards to health insurance for entrepreneurs specifically, or that you would like to share with them? Something that's maybe new or that they haven't thought about, or should they be shopping during open enrollment, even if they have policies in place? Like, what are the things that they should be doing in that ballpark?
So one thing is, and you mentioned earlier about negotiating, a lot of times there's people that, everything's going up, all the bills, the electricity and cable. We can't negotiate electricity too much, but you can a little bit in some places. But on health insurance, don't get stuck and comfortable with your insurance. It could be your auto, your home. I mean, I shop ours every 6 months. I'm on our renewal. Same thing with your health insurance. A lot of times it's really easy for agents to just get that renewal. So sometimes they're not always shopping your rates for the thousands of clients they have, but you need to be the one who shops your rate. You are responsible as a business owner to make sure that if your rate went up, you need to do more than just ask a question. So that way that agent knows, like, okay, every year they're going to shop. So I need to do it beforehand, so I make sure that I have the options for them. What we do at Wise Insurance is we do the shopping first. We talk with the carriers that are local in those regions, and they let us know what their rate increases are going to be. We compare that with all the other insurance carriers to make sure that that's what's in the best interest of the client. Because also, when they go shop, I want them to get higher rates from other brokers than they get from me. So then they're like, oh, she did shop us. So that's the thing is, it's your responsibility to manage your finances, and you should always be negotiating. Sometimes health insurance is not negotiable, but there's different strategies in place. So we're starting to see a lot of creative things come out for small to medium-sized businesses that weren't available 15 years ago. And there's going to be some different things coming in legislatively. We have what they call the family glitch. That could be a big impact to small businesses. We don't have a lot of details about that because it's not been passed yet, but it's something for you guys to be watching, especially if you have employees that you're offering health coverage to.
That's great.
Yep. So shop. Everything's negotiable, even when you think it isn't. Right. There's always another strategy. What I heard from Emily is there's different strategies to mitigate your costs. There's different things that you can do, and it's always changing. And I know this because I come from healthcare, right? It's always changing. We have an ever-changing environment when it comes to health insurance, healthcare. We have an ever-changing business environment, and so while we're talking about this, the business climate is always changing. How is it, Emily, that you and your partner are able to navigate that together? Because one of the things that we've talked about before was partnerships. Sometimes you grow together, sometimes you grow apart, sometimes it's a challenge. So you guys are partnered, and I know you guys have had some growing pains in the past. How do you guys stay equally yoked and driving in the forward direction as partners? Because I think that would be really valuable for people to hear.
So it's really basic. It's communication. I mean, that seems like really obvious, but it's not always. And the thing is you also have to understand where your partner's intentions are, because business partnerships don't necessarily mean that we own the business together. It could be like you as the owner talking with your COO, things like that. So the thing is that you have to have a streamlined communication. Sometimes there's egos in the way or different ideas for the business, and you have to both be able to process that information and come back and sometimes we allow some time. It's like, okay, let's just talk about this tomorrow. That's okay. Don't feel like you have to be right as a business owner all the time. You should always want to be coachable and able to learn from others and understand their perspectives. That way you make the most educated decision. Sometimes the decisions we have to make, we're like, I have no idea. And so we're having to go research, and then her interpretation can be different from mine. So we're like, let's go back to the source. So it's just quite a process, but communication is the most important thing. And respecting the other person's viewpoint. Sometimes you're not going to agree, but you need to back it up. So I'm like really big on facts, numbers. If that's the case, if you're saying that, how many? What do we do here? And that's how we end up having to come down to making some of those tough decisions. Is what do the numbers say? What do they reflect?
And so it all comes down to communication. And unfortunately, I have to communicate that we are drawing towards the end of our session. And I feel like we can carry on this conversation for many more. So we'll probably have you back to go deeper into this, especially on partnerships, because that's something we get a lot of inquiries about. But Emily, for those who are not on television format, who may be listening on the radio or maybe just have the ears, how can they reach out to you if they'd like to learn more about entrepreneurship, partnership, or the health insurance industry, or if they'd like to shop their rates?
So you can give us a call directly at 832-308-0123, or you can go visit us on our website at wisehealthins.com. We have a lot on Medicare right now because we're about to open into the season on there. So we're driving a lot of people, educational information. Absolutely. But if you're an insurance agent or if you're looking for any type of insurance for your business, you can definitely go to that website. We have a contact form, and we'll reach out to you quickly.
Awesome. And Paula, how can our viewers and listeners reach out to you?
Yes, please email me at paula@jengaudetcoaching.com. That's Paula at JENGAUDET coaching.com. Love to talk to you about a plan, and in our plan is insurance. So reach out and we will definitely can get you connected to Emily as well.
Fantastic. Thank you, ladies, so much for everything that you bring. And you, yes, you who are viewing or listening to this today, thank you for being a part of our show. We are here because of you, and we want to continue to serve you in that way. So if you have feedback, if you've taken action on one of the things you've heard on the show, or you've had some results, or you'd like to hear something about a particular topic or have a question, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can get me at jengaudet@jengaudetcoaching.com. That is my email. It goes directly to me. I will look at that because that's what I use to bring content and to answer the questions that you are delivering to my email box. We appreciate your feedback. But before we go, you know that knowledge is only a small part of the equation, and implementation is where the magic happens. So it's time to decide what is your action step today. Is it that you haven't done a SWOT analysis in a while and it's time to look at what are my strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats? Is it time to have a plan because I don't have a plan in place? And if you don't, you've got some amazing resources here. You can reach out to Paula, you can reach out to myself. Is it that I don't have insurance that I'm not offering to my clients because I didn't realize that there were options for small business owners? Whatever that action step is for you today that you heard, I want you to put it into play today. Take action today, not tomorrow, not next week, because you'll forget about it. Do it now so that you can move yourself a little bit forward. And it's all about those small steps that keep us moving forward, get us into forward momentum, and that's how we take our businesses to the next level. Without further ado, I'm going to wish you an amazing rest of your week. We'll see you next week, same time, same station, but go win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a NowMedia Television feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Are you a business owner feeling overwhelmed or burnt out with no energy left for what's most important to you? In order to effectively run your business and maximize your profits, you have got to be the best possible you that you can be. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, master your schedule, and maximize your profits so you can effectively run your business rather than it running you. It's time to become the CEO of your business and life. I'm Jen Gaudet, a business strategist and life coach. I work with overwhelmed business owners who feel stuck in a rut and depleted. I teach you how to stop doing the things that aren't making you money and start prioritizing the things that bring you energy, joy, and lasting impact. I'm a human performance specialist and an international best-selling author. I've helped countless people all over the world to learn the art of saying no, overcome their fear, and maximize their performance. Let's get you to live your best possible reality. Start today and become the CEO of your business and your life.
Hispana de noticias y entretenimiento, sirviendo a la comunidad hispana por más de 25 años. El mejor contenido para estar informado. Política, comunidad, moda, cultura, entretenimiento, cocina, comercio y más. Obtenga su copia gratis en todas las taquerías Arandas.
Your spine gives your body structure and support. It allows you to bend and move freely, and more importantly, it protects your spinal cord. Your spinal cord is a column of nerves that connect your brain with the rest of the body, allowing you to control your movements. But when your spine gets misaligned due to slips and falls, car accidents, sports injuries, or years of repetitive wear and tear on the body caused by everyday activities, it can cause painful conditions. Stop living in pain. At Lacombe Chiropractic, we can help your back pain, pinched nerves, sore neck, bulging or herniated disc, headaches, or posture problems. We offer chiropractic adjustments, cold laser, decompression, and therapeutic massage. We can even help you reach your weight loss goals by offering the Ideal Weight Loss Program in our office. Often all it takes is just a few treatments for our patients to experience pain relief and better functioning. We'll find the cause, and correct it so you can live a better life. If you're worried about those daily aches and pains getting worse or really don't know what to do or who to call, don't wait any longer. Call Lacombe Chiropractic now at 512-645-0420 so you can improve your health and live a better life.
Are you considering selling more than likely what is the most expensive investment, your home, now or in the near future? Before you throw away precious equity down the drain and live to regret it, I'd like to share with you 5 reasons why you need to stage your space, whether living in it or selling it vacant. Hello, I'm Kat Trelinos, President, Master Staging Professional, and CEO of Tada by Kat Next Level Staging and Design. Number 1, you need to stage because you'll make more money. According to the National Association of Realtors, more than 5 to 20% more staged. Number 2, so buyers can visualize the staged property as their next home. Stage because